You've been lied to. For decades, the music industry, corporate gear manufacturers, and the legion of elitist YouTubers have tried to convince you of a single expensive lie. Your art is only as good as the logo on your headstock. They want you to believe that if your bass isn't a customized boutique build worth 3 months of rent, if your audio interface doesn't cost $1,000, and if you aren't running Pro Tools with plugins that require a supercomputer, your music doesn't matter. They want you trapped in an endless loop of consumerism, chasing a ghost, buying validation and convincing yourself that the next piece of gear is finally going to make you a real musician. Look at this setup. A no-name mic, a budget multi-use console, a 5-string built by a completely unknown luthier whose name nobody outside a small workshop has ever heard, a custom fretless cigar box guitar, and of course, the free web version of BandLab. And today, we're going to talk about why this exact setup, your setup, stripped of all corporate bullcrap, is infinitely more powerful than any sterile, overproduced garbage coming from a major labor machine. Let's talk about the raw truth of making music with nothing to prove. Let's look at the mirror for a second. Why do we buy things? Why do we feel that phantom itch every time a new piece of gear drops? It's not because our current instruments are broken. It's because we're terrified. We're terrified that our playing isn't enough. We're terrified that without the safety blanket of a brand name, people will see right through us. We use gear as a body armor. We hide behind expensive preamps, high-end compression, and massive pedal boards because deep down, we suffer from a massive creative imposter syndrome. When you play a bass by Luthier, whose name isn't stamped on giant billboard in Times Square, you lose that safety net. There's no brand prestige to bail you out. If the groove sucks, it's you. If the tone lacks character, it's your hands. And that is terrifying to most musicians. Because the industry has trained you to be a consumer first and an artist second. They want you dependent. They want you looking outward for permission to create. Let's talk about reality. Let's talk about what happens when you throw out the multi-million-dollar studio rules and work with what is actually in front of you. People look at BandLab Web, a free browser-based DAW, and turn their noses up. They look at a generic console or a budget mic and call it toy gear. Do you know what happens when your tools are limited? Your excuses evaporate. When you don't have 30 different compressor plugins to choose from, you actually have to learn how to mix with your ears. When your instrument comes from an anonymous workshop, it has quirks, dead spots, and unique eccentricities that force you to fight for your tone. You aren't playing a factory standard machine stamped out by a robot in an assembly line. You are wrestling an instrument that has a literal fingerprint of someone who built it by hand in a local shop. And that limitation breeds raw identity. Look at music history. The greatest, most visceral movements didn't come from pristine multi-million-dollar rooms. They came from bedroom, garages, and basements where people pushed cheap, broken, or anonymous equipment past its absolute breaking point. When you record a track like Doomsday, using a free web DAW and unknown gear, you aren't leaning on a corporate brand to give your song credibility. Your credibility has to come entirely from the grit of your execution, from the fingers on the strings, from the blood, sweat, and mistakes left unedited. There is an incredible liberating power in being a nobody playing unknown gear. Think about it. You have nothing to lose when your gear isn't a status symbol. You are completely free. You don't have to pander to what corporate marketing department thinks a bass line should sound like. You don't have to water down your distortion, soften your tapping, or clean up your pinch harmonics so it fits neatly into a pristine radio-friendly box. You can be ugly. You can be aggressive. You can be weird. When I pick up that 5-string tune EIDGC or plug in the cigar box guitar, I'm not thinking about resale value. I'm not thinking about whether collectors will want it in 10 years. I'm thinking about expression. The industry spends billions of dollars trying to manufacture authenticity. They hire creative directors to make pristine high-end studios look grungy and underground for music videos. It's all a corporate custom. It's fake. You don't need a custom when your reality is already authentic. Your gear isn't a prop. It's an extension of a reality where you make music because you have to, not because you're trying to flex on an online forum. So here's an uncomfortable truth you need to swallow today. If you gave a masterclass player a cheap, no-name instrument and a basic laptop with BandLab, they would still sound like a monster. And if you put a beginner with zero identity in a $5 million Abbey Road studio surrounded by vintage gear, they would still sound generic. The gear is a distraction. The brand name is a pacifier. Stop waiting until you can afford a pro setup to start making your own best work. Stop apologizing for what you use. Stop feeling less than because your gear didn't come out of a glossy catalog endorsed by a superstar who doesn't even know your name. Your unknown luthier instruments, they carry character that mass-produced factory guitars can't buy. Your budget console and free web DAW, they are the proof that your drive to create is stronger than any financial barrier the industry tries to put in your way. If you need a multi-$1,000 rig to feel confident about your music, you don't have a gear problem. You have a conviction problem. So here's my challenge to you. Whether you're watching this or working on your own tracks right now, drop the excuses. Stop looking at what everyone else is flexing online. Take whatever cheap, unbranded, beaten up tool you have within your arm's reach right now. Open up whatever free software in your screen and make something so undeniably real that no corporate brand could ever replicate it. If this resonated with you, Hit subscribe, drop a comment telling me what budget piece of gear you refuse to give up, and let's keep making noise without asking for permission. See you on the next track.